Ooh-wee. It's getting good. It's getting good. This is episode 6. Now, the last season was 8 episodes. So I don't know if we're only 2 episodes left. I hope not, because it's really good. And they do a good job of packing stuff into this 30 minutes. It's only 30 minutes, but there's so much going on. So on this episode, we get a lot more into Chastity's life. We pretty much do a full circle of everybody, but some very big things happen in Chastity's life. So we find out Lord AK did set himself on fire on purpose, trying to kill himself. I don't know if he was having depressive issues. He didn't die, but I'm pretty sure he got 3rd-degree burns. He probably won't come back on the show, his character, unless they're going to do him like Freddy Krueger and do some makeup or something. So because of that, the tour is on halt. Which the happy thing about that is I did not have to see Francois but at all this episode. I do not like his character. We did have to see Maurice though, but he got his in this episode. So the girls are back in Miami, and of course, they weren't getting paid to tour, so they're just back to their regular lives. And Mia's because she was really into that life. She was really into the glitz, the glamour, the luxury of being in the entertainment business. Shauna's staying with Mia. She doesn't have a close relationship with her parents right now. I think it's because maybe they feel like she should be doing more with her life financially, so she's staying with Mia. And they're back to the Miami Dade that we're trying to get away from, which that makes the rest of the season very interesting. So I'm assuming they're going to stay in Miami this time, in town. So Chastity, she's back to pimping. Not managing right now because they're not on tour. She's back to pimping. Come to find out, she has to bail one of the girls out of jail because I think they call him the bottom bitch, which ironically is the top HO, right? She was supposed to pay the assistant manager or whatever at the hotel to kind of keep their stuff under wraps, right? And the girl ended up getting arrested. So Chastity was like, okay, look, just go to this other hotel, this one they usually frequent. And they end up telling her, well, we can't go there anymore because Bugs, he got his girls there, right? So Chastity didn't sit there and watch too much Shottas and Menace to Society. Got her ski mask on, her gun, and she just busted up in all the hotel rooms at that particular hotel, or motel, I should say, at that particular motel. Told them all to get the hell out. They ain't allowed to work there anymore. Now, when she did that, I knew it was going to come back on her, but I didn't know it was going to come back like this same episode. People don't play about their money. And I don't know anything about that type of like street life, but from watching movies and dating a few bad boys back in the day, I know a little bit. And yeah, it came back to her very quickly. So back to Mia, we'll get back to Chastity. She does this thing with Lamont, which some people do when they have a child with somebody. They kind of lean back on them when they don't have anybody else, whether it's for sex or relationship, intimacy, whatever. And Lamont, he's like, I'm done with that, right? We find out that he's sleeping with his daughter's friend's mom. Like, they have play dates together, and Mia knows the girl. And I think that's going to get kind of messy later on, because even though Mia's not with Lamont anymore, I think she's going to have a problem with that going on because it's so close. And he pretty much reassures the girl that, everything's cool. No, it's not. I already know. She probably going to end up fighting that girl. Let's see if I'm correct, because I just feel like she's like, well, I'm back in Miami now. Ain't no cash. What was his name? Cash Flow. Ain't no Courtney. It's baby daddy. And she's used to kind of going back and forth with him. And I think he's tired of that. And I don't blame him, because it's like, Don't, you inviting him out to LA, and then when you find out you got these other dudes gonna be at the event, you tell him not to come. Like, I do not blame him at all. I think he still had feelings for her. That's why he's distancing himself, because I don't think him and homegirl are in a relationship. They're kicking it. They got a situationship going on. We gonna see how that plays out. So I'm gonna get back to Chastity in just a minute. Now, when Lamont goes to pick up their daughter, Melissa, she's such a cute little girl too. He's kind of cold towards her, and I'm thinking he just don't want to give her any ideas. Like, look, we're co-parenting, that's it. Which I feel like that keeps things clear. I totally understand that on his part. Like, let's not have sex. Let's not cuddle up. Let's just co-parent and call it a day. And he's really good with his daughter too. So, all right, I think I can do without my notes because I watched it twice, right? Okay, so I don't like Maurice because he's sitting there. He's trying to set Shauna up, recording their phone calls and treating her all weird. I don't remember whose idea it was to do this credit card scamming thing, if it was her or him, but it's like, okay, y'all both grown. Y'all both decided to do it. It's wrong and illegal, so why are you mad at her? I don't understand his mindset with that. Well, she's hurt over Lord AK because she feels guilty about, she was very close proximity to him when he set himself on fire, but she was arguing with his homeboy and she didn't see it, so she feels guilty. She feels like she could have stopped it. So she's going over Maurice. Again, Maurice is someone she kind of leans on too. Not so much like Mia and Lamont, but she does kind of lean on him. And he softens up to her a little bit, whatever. I just don't like him. But he got his face busted because Stanley, the dude that was involved with the credit card stuff as well, I think they're related or something like that. He comes over there, sees Shauna over there, gets all mad, blows up the spot and tells Shauna that Maurice has been recording their phone calls, which I'm glad he did because she needed to know that. Because every time she would call him, every time she would pay him any kind of attention, I was like, girl, please leave that man alone. He is setting you up. But I'm glad she knows, because I did not want to see Shauna go to jail. Even though it was wrong what she did, I just didn't want to see her go, because we saw last season it ended with her running by the pool away from the cops because they had to question her. That was so funny. That was a good cliffhanger because it wasn't super intense, but it's like, yeah, I got to check out the next season, right? So, of course, she ends up leaving and going back to Mia's house, and I hope that's the end of Maurice, so we have to see the season. Now, Chastity, what goes around, come around, that stuff came back so fast. Like I said, I did not expect it to come back in this episode. But she gets a text from one of her girls talking about, bring us some tampons. And she was like, okay, they're going back and forth. And she's like, the girl's like, I need you to come to the room. We're having a meeting. Come to the room. She comes in the room. All her girls are being held at gunpoint. Bugs, the guy whose spot she ran up in, was scaring all his HOs out of there. Not him, but he had one of his boys beat the crap out of Chastity to the point where I thought they was going to kill her, but I knew they weren't because that wouldn't work for the plot of the series to kill her off. But they beat the crap out of her, knocked her tooth out, just effed her up bad. And he was basically, in so many words, do this again, I'm gonna kill you. Now, we know Chastity got into this pimp game from her uncle. Her uncle is a pimp. I don't think he's in the game anymore, but he was a pimp. So he been in the streets heavy. And, he was basically telling her, look, we got to handle business. And you know what handle business means in this case. Chastity doesn't want him to kill dude because, for one, she'd be a witness. Hello. Damn near probably be an accessory. I don't know. I'm just saying. Well, they go meet Bugs. Chastity's in the car. Her face is all jacked up. Just jacked up. She looking like Martin on that episode when he was boxing Tommy Hearns, right? I knew he was gonna kill dude. He comes out the car, acts like he's just talking to him, friendly. Next thing you know, he's beating the crap out of dude. Bam, you hear a gunshot. Last scene, Chastity's sitting in the car, and she's just like, damn, you know. Her uncle get in the car, and he's like, look, you got your block back. I feel like something's gonna happen to that uncle. I'm serious. Something's gonna happen to that uncle. I think Chastity's gonna get in some legal trouble because of that. I think somebody is probably going to have been a witness to it, because there were some girls out there, but they walked away when Chastity's uncle came up to Bugs' car. I think that's gonna happen. I think Shauna is not gonna fool Maurice for the rest of the season. I hope. Like I said, I think Mia is going to beat the crap out of the girl that Lamont is messing with, because I think she looks at Lamont kind of like a placeholder. Like, when I'm not, you know, on tour, living it up, doing my thing, you are my backup support. You are my backup DICK. You are my backup whatever. And he's cutting that off. And they've never had that before in their relationship as co-parents. And their daughter's like, she looks like she's like 6, 7, no more than 8, right? So you look at it, for the past 6, 7, 8 years, Lamont has been there for her in times of need, even if it's not concerning their daughter. He done cut that off. So we're going to see how Mia does with that. I'm very, very curious. Now, Francois, Raina, we probably won't see them anymore this season. I think it's going to be back to Dade County. It's going to be back to Miami. It's going to be back to the world that Maya and Shauna had tried so hard to leave. Even though, you know how you could love home, but it's like, I need to grow out of this home and go somewhere else. So I definitely feel me on that. That's how I felt when I left Nashville the first time, and I will leave again soon. But when I left the first time, it was like, I gotta go, man. Like, I know how that feels when you are familiar with an area, you grew up there, but it's like, it's time to see other things. So I'm excited, man. I gotta wait a whole 7 days to see another episode, but I'm cool. I actually like this setup more so than on Netflix, where they just drop all the episodes at once, because I do like that anticipation. Like back in the day, for you who may be too young to remember, before streaming, shows came on once a week. They would show reruns after a while, but you had to wait a week to see a show. You couldn't pause it. You could tape it. It wasn't DVR. It was actually, you put a tape in a VCR, hit that little red circle, and record. That was DVR back in the day. But yeah, so I do like the anticipation of waiting. Shout out to my 42 subscribers, man. As always, peace and blessings. I mean that with my full heart, not just a saying. Peace and blessings we definitely need in the times that we're living in right now. I will see y'all soon. I fell asleep on this one Christmas movie, so I'm going to try to run that back. Might do a review on that if it's worth it. All right, y'all. Till next time.